Let's get started with our first news. Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier is officially coming to Alf Reality, and this is one matchup loaded with bad blood. Last year, Jon Jones's team went head-to-head with Nate Diaz's team on Alf Reality, but the season completely fell apart after a massive brawl broke out during filming. Things got so chaotic that Nate Diaz eventually pulled out of the show despite repeated efforts from the Alf team to keep him and his crew involved. Now, Alf Reality is back with a new season, and Jon Jones has returned as a coach once again. This time, however, he'll be facing someone with an even deeper and more personal rivalry, Daniel Cormier. If you know their history, then you already understand why this pairing is explosive. These two men genuinely dislike each other, and putting them together in a competitive environment is a recipe for drama. Interestingly, Jon has previously said that coaching against Cormier could actually help them fix their broken relationship. He believes that filming together in Thailand could give them a chance to grow as men and possibly even start a friendship. According to Jon, he has no personal issues with Daniel and sees this as an opportunity to finally move on from the past. Daniel Cormier, however, doesn't seem to share that same outlook. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, DC made it very clear that he still wants smoke with Jon Jones. He claimed that one day they will face off in real American freestyle wrestling, and he confidently said he would beat Jon because he still trains wrestlers every single day. Filming has already begun in Thailand, and a photo of Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier facing off has surfaced online. While this season will undoubtedly be must-watch, it remains to be seen whether their rivalry cools down or burns even hotter once the cameras stop rolling. Move on to another news. Charles Oliveira believes Ilia has what it takes to knock out Islam Makhachev, and his reasoning is turning heads across the MMA world. While the hype around a potential Ilia versus Islam matchup has cooled down slightly, Oliveira has already gone on record with a very clear and bold prediction if this fight ever becomes reality. Recently, Charles Oliveira appeared in several videos on the Lex Sedune YouTube channel. In one standout clip, the former lightweight champion broke down exactly how he believes a fight between Ilia and Islam would play out, especially when it comes to striking exchanges. According to Oliveira, the danger level changes dramatically depending on where the fight takes place. Oliveira explained that Islam Makhachev's approach is very direct and disciplined. In his view, Islam has one primary game plan: to close the distance, clinch, and take the fight to the ground. Once Islam gets his hands locked, Oliveira believes the fight heavily favors him, because that's where Islam is at his most dominant. However, Oliveira made it very clear that the stand-up exchanges are a completely different story. He described Ilia as a fighter with serious power, even stating that the punch Ilia landed on him was the hardest shot he has ever felt in his entire career. Oliveira admitted that while he hasn't seen much of Ilia's clinch or ground game, Ilia's striking alone is enough to change the fight in an instant. According to Charles, if the fight stays on the feet, Ilia absolutely has the ability to knock Islam out. The danger comes from the fact that Islam must close the distance to execute his wrestling, and doing that against Ilia is extremely risky. One mistake, one mistimed entry, and the fight could be over before it ever reaches the mat. Oliveira summed it up by saying the matchup is very close. If Islam successfully gets hold of Ilia, he believes Islam finishes the fight. But if Ilia keeps the distance and forces a striking battle, the power advantage could completely shift the outcome. This breakdown from Charles Oliveira adds a fascinating layer to an already massive potential matchup, showing just how thin the line is between control and chaos at the highest level of the lightweight division. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall has provided another update on his health, giving fans a clearer picture of what's been going on behind the scenes. Yesterday, most of the major talking points from the Paddy Pimblett and Tom Aspinall YouTube videos were already covered, but one important detail slipped under the radar. That detail was the ongoing issue with Aspinall's eye, which has quietly become a frustrating and drawn-out process. For anyone who might have forgotten, the last real update came at the end of a footwork video, where Aspinall revealed that he had already undergone surgery on one eye. At the time, he also mentioned that surgery on the second eye was planned for mid-January. Since then, fans have been waiting to hear whether things were moving forward smoothly or if there had been complications. Now, Aspinall has appeared once again, this time on Paddy Pimblett's YouTube channel, where he gave a more honest and detailed explanation of his situation. According to Tom, the recovery process has been much slower than he expected. Unlike muscle injuries or other physical setbacks that can often be fixed immediately, eye injuries are treated very differently. Aspinall explained that doctors usually try to avoid rushing into surgery when it comes to eyes due to the obvious risks involved. Instead, they prefer to give the eye as much time as possible to heal naturally before taking more serious steps. While that approach makes sense medically, it has turned into a nightmare from a fighter's perspective, especially for someone eager to get back into full training and competition. He confirmed that surgery on the second eye is now planned, but it will likely keep him out for a while. At this stage, there is still no clear timeline for his return. Aspinall mentioned that he has an upcoming meeting to get more answers. But even then, nothing is guaranteed. The uncertainty has been one of the hardest parts of the entire process. Despite the frustration, Tom remained calm and realistic about the situation. He acknowledged that eye health isn't something you can gamble with, even if it means delaying his comeback. While the delay has been slow, painful, and mentally exhausting, the priority remains making sure everything heals correctly. For now, Aspinall is focused on getting through the surgery, following medical advice, and doing whatever it takes to protect his long-term career. It may be a slow road back, but ensuring his vision is fully restored is more important than rushing into another fight. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley has dropped a surprising hint that his fighting career could be coming to an end sooner than many fans expected. During a recent episode of his podcast, O'Malley opened up about his plans moving forward and specifically mentioned 2026 as a potential turning point. While nothing is set in stone, his comments were enough to get people seriously talking about retirement. According to Sean, his current focus is very clear. He wants to take care of Song Yadong first, then move on to a fight with Petr Yan. In his mind, that stretch could define what he called the final chapter of his run. He even described 2026 as being lit, suggesting that it could mark the end of the Suga era, as fans know it. O'Malley explained that some fighters go out on top, while others stick around for as long as possible, sometimes past their prime. For him, the idea of dragging things out doesn't hold much appeal. He made it clear that if everything lines up the way he wants, winning key fights and staying sharp, walking away early wouldn't bother him at all. At the same time, Sean admitted that trying to predict the future is almost pointless in this sport. He said it's hard to know what he'll want to do even 2 or 3 years from now, let alone 5. MMA can change everything in an instant. One bad loss or a couple of tough performances, and a fighter's mindset can shift quickly. He also acknowledged the flip side of that reality. If he goes out there, performs well, keeps winning, and feels good physically and mentally, retirement could come immediately after that high point. For O'Malley, it's not about chasing records or fighting forever. It's about timing and personal satisfaction. Despite the retirement talk, Sean made one thing very clear. He still believes he can beat the top guys in the division. His confidence hasn't faded, and he still sees himself as capable of handling Song and earning that fight with Yan. What happens after that, he says, will depend entirely on how life unfolds. For now, O'Malley is taking things one fight at a time. Whether 2026 becomes his farewell tour or just another chapter remains uncertain. But the fact that he's openly talking about retirement shows he's already thinking beyond the cage and preparing for whatever comes next. Move on to another news. We've got a round of UFC updates as we're finally just a few weeks away from the end of this brutal break. Seriously, this stretch has felt endless, and fans are more than ready for consistent fight cards again. With that said, let's jump straight into the latest developments across multiple upcoming events. We'll start with an update for UFC Houston. According to the Monkey King himself, Jordan Leavitt has announced that he is scheduled to face Yair Del Valle, a matchup he revealed on Instagram. Leavitt currently sits at 5-3 in the UFC and is coming off an impressive win over Kurt Hollabaugh, a performance that earned him a Performance of the Night bonus. Momentum is clearly on his side as he looks to build some consistency in the lightweight division. As for Del Valle, he's currently 2-0 inside the UFC. He most recently picked up a win over Isaac Dulgarian, a bout that later became linked to the highly publicized betting scandal. Despite the controversy surrounding that fight, Del Valle remains unbeaten in the promotion and will be looking to make a statement against a seasoned opponent like Leavitt. Next up, we move over to UFC 26. Nearly 2 weeks ago, it was reported that Paulo Costa was forced to pull out of his scheduled fight with Bruno Ferreira. Now, it looks like Ferreira has a new opponent locked in. According to LFA sources, Bruno Ferreira is now set to take on Gregory Rodriguez, better known as RoboCop. Ferreira currently holds a 6-2 UFC record and is riding a strong 3-fight win streak. On the other side, Rodriguez stands at 9-3 in the UFC and is coming in with a solid 2-fight win streak of his own. This matchup promises fireworks, as both fighters are known for their aggressive styles and finishing ability. Finally, we have an important health update regarding Alexandre Pantoja. Following concerns stemming from his bout at UFC 323, Pantoja's team has delivered some very encouraging news. Speaking on Ariel Helwani's YouTube channel, it was confirmed that Pantoja will not require surgery. Reports indicate there are no fractures, his ligaments are intact, and only the tendons were affected. According to his team, Pantoja is targeting a return sometime around the summer of 2026. While it's still a recovery process, avoiding surgery is a massive win and a huge relief for both the fighter and his fans. Move on to another news. Justin Gaethje has responded directly to growing concerns online after fans began speculating that he might be dealing with a staph infection. The rumors started after Gaethje uploaded a new YouTube video yesterday, where viewers noticed a mark on his neck and immediately jumped to conclusions. With Gaethje currently preparing for a massive fight against Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight title later this month, the speculation spread fast. Social media quickly filled with screenshots, zoomed-in clips, and theories about what was going on with Gaethje's neck and face. Some users went as far as suggesting it could be staph, which is every fighter's nightmare, especially this close to a fight. As the conversation gained traction, Gaethje decided to shut it down himself. Taking to X, Gaethje addressed the rumors head-on with his usual sarcastic tone. One user directly asked him, "So, what kind of wound is this?" Gaethje fired back, saying it was simply an ingrown hair on his neck and, jokingly, brisket hanging out of his mouth. He even threw in a sarcastic Nostradamus to make it clear how ridiculous he found the speculation. That wasn't the end of it. Another user posted a screenshot from the video and asked, "What is that?" implying something was wrong with his lip as well. Gaethje didn't hold back. He replied by pointing out that the screenshot was taken while he was literally eating brisket in the video. He accused the user of deliberately freezing the frame to make it look like he had herpes on his lip, calling out the dishonest framing of the image. Gaethje made it clear once again that his neck issue is nothing more than a healing ingrown hair and not an infection of any kind. His responses carried a mix of frustration and humor, but the message was very clear. There is no staph, no health scare, and no issue that will impact his upcoming fight. This situation highlights how quickly misinformation can spread in MMA, especially when fans are already on edge ahead of a big matchup. A single screenshot can spiral into full-blown rumors in a matter of hours. Gaethje's direct response should put those concerns to rest and confirm that his preparation remains on track. With the fight approaching, Gaethje appears focused, healthy, and locked in. The only thing actually infected here might be social media's obsession with overanalyzing every frame. Move on to another news. Bisping has issued a serious warning to Tom Aspinall while discussing his ongoing eye issues. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, the former middleweight champion explained that while Aspinall will likely be okay, there is also a very real possibility that he may never be the same fighter again. Bisping spoke from personal experience, making his message hit much harder. He explained that his own retina was detached during his fight with Vitor Belfort. After that, it was reattached, then detached again, and fixed once more, before eventually leading to glaucoma. According to Bisping, once doctors start operating on the eyes, things are never quite the same again. The eye may heal, but it often loses strength, and complications can appear later when you least expect them. Bisping pointed out that this isn't unique to eye injuries. Any part of the body that undergoes repeated surgical intervention becomes more vulnerable over time. Even though medical science has improved significantly, the risks are still very real. He recalled how his former coach, Jason Pillow, suffered a detached retina during his boxing career. Despite being undefeated and extremely talented, that single injury immediately ended his career. While Bisping's own career wasn't saved in the long run, he acknowledged that modern medicine gives Aspinall a much better chance. Still, he stressed that nothing is guaranteed. Vision problems can change everything, especially in a sport where timing, reactions, and awareness are critical. Bisping also addressed fans who believe Aspinall is simply delaying another fight with Gan. He strongly dismissed that idea, making it clear that no fighter would willingly risk their eyesight just to avoid a matchup. According to Bisping, this situation is far more serious than fans want to admit. Despite the concerns, Bisping said he's hopeful that Aspinall's surgeries go well and that he can make a full recovery. If everything works out, he believes fans will eventually see Aspinall back in the cage, throwing hands and competing at the highest level once again.